When he's making threes, he's really, really hard to defend.
Harris, Levert off the bounce for Levert, and he drills it.
Torian, that's 3 balls, nothing but net.
Joe Harris drains the three.
He has a knack to get to the rim, get to the basket, create contact, and finish.
Levert will, and hit.
I think he's playing with an extreme amount of confidence.
Our Bubble or Nothing series continues today with a look at the Brooklyn Nets, who currently have the 7th seed in the East. The Nets are making some additions to the squad after entering the NBA bubble in Orlando earlier this week with just 12 players. Filling one of the vacant spots, 40-year-old veteran Jamal Crawford. Now, Jamal Crawford hasn't played this season, though over the course of the veteran's 20-year career, he did average 14.6 points and 2.2 rebounds per game. So, Max, will Jamal Crawford make a difference in the bubble?
No. Jamal Crawford can still play NBA basketball. When last seen on an NBA floor at the age of like 38 or 39, whatever he was, he can still go get his own shot because he's one of my favorite players. My dad's favorite player, I think, in the last 20 years. But he had already been severely diminished from his prime. Let's be honest. He was never a defender. But at that, he was still a rotation piece. He could still be a sixth man who could go get you a bucket in a big moment, right? And those guys are valuable. Not everyone can do that. Even at 40, I'm assuming he can. But guys, the Nets, if the playoffs started today, or even tomorrow, or a month from now, are going to play who? Either the Bucks or the Celtics. Or the Raptors, and they're playing them without their 5 or 4 of their 5 best players. DeAndre Dinwiddie aren't going to be there, and neither is Kevin Durant, right? So, no, the Nets are not going to beat any of the teams I just mentioned, with or without Crawford. It's a nice pickup. He can still play, I believe. I think he can still play in the NBA, but it ain't going to make a difference. Not for the Nets, not right now.
Max, listen, the Nets had a lot of options. They could have went got some younger talents. There's still some free agents out there right now that they could have went got. But they went got a 40-year-old Jamal Crawford, a walking bucket. You talking about a guy who came out of his mother's womb playing the game of basketball. Some people have to work on their skills. Some people it just comes natural to. Jamal Crawford is one of those guys. When you talk about Jamal Crawford, Max, just think about it. Just last April, he dropped a 50-piece wing dinner, spicy, when he was on the Phoenix Suns. To me, it's crazy that he's just now getting picked up, and the season is halfway over, is almost over with, and we're going into the playoffs. I thought the team should have been signed Jamal Crawford. Jamal Crawford reminds me of this old school dude that's from my hometown in Beaumont, Texas, we used to call Cadillac Red. Cadillac Red used to pull up, Max, he used to have his beer in his hand and a cigarette in his mouth. He used to drop the beer down by the goal, take the cigarette out of his mouth at the age of 58, and give us that work. Jamal Crawford is a walking bucket. It's a reason the Brooklyn Nets picked him up over all the other free agents that's out there that's younger than him because they know that he still could produce at a high level. So, yes, he is going to make a difference on his Brooklyn Nets team because he's a bucket.
Nah.
You better put some respect on his name, Max.
Look, always with Jay Crossover, always. Don't get it twisted, Perk. The bottom line is there's a reason that last year, not this past season, the season previous is the last time we saw him, and he averaged under 20 minutes a game. What Crawford can still do, I believe, is in a high leverage moment, get you a bucket, as you said. But you got to have the high leverage moment, brother. It's got to be there. You got to put yourself in a position where that bucket is going to make a difference. He's not the most efficient player in the world. Never really was, but not anymore, certainly. Look, he's 40 years old. When last seen at 38, he wasn't the most efficient. But but I agree with you. The ability for a player to get his own shot in crunch time, talk to any coach, they'll tell you that's valuable, right? And obviously it is. But you got to have a crunch time to even need that shot. Jamal Crawford's not going to help you get to that moment at his age. I don't think there's going to be that moment without KD, without Dinwiddie, without DeAndre Jordan, against the Raptors, the Celtics, or the Bucks. So what difference is it going to make if you bring him off the bench and he gives you 2 points when you need it?
But Max, who's to say he's coming off the bench? It's
What
the
if he brings you
reason
those
that
spicy chicken nuggets?
It's the reason that they signed him. It's the reason that they signed him.
So you think
they
Jamal
signed
Crawford,
him over a lot of free agents that's out there?
So Perk, they have Jamal Crawford. How many minutes you going to play him, Coach? You're up against the Raptors, Celtics, or Bucks in the playoffs. How many minutes is Jamal Crawford going to play, and what's that going to mean?
About 25 to 30 minutes a game is the reason that they signed him. He will play about 25 to 30 minutes a game. I guarantee you that.
Jamal,
and he's ready for it.
In the Big Three or in the NBA?
In the NBA for the Brooklyn Nets, Max. You know what we're talking about.
He had 18 and a half minutes a game when last seen on a bad Phoenix team 2 years ago. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. That wasn't his role. The Phoenix Suns signed him to be a locker room guy. That don't mean he couldn't play. Like I said, when he got his opportunity to play in the month of April, so what's it gonna mean,
Go look at his numbers then when he played a lot of minutes. And once again, his last game,
I don't sleep on Jamal Crawford.
Spicy.
What is it going to mean, Perk?
Okay, then
playing
what are we talking about?
Celtics, or Raptors in the playoffs? Jamal Crawford's playing 25 minutes a game. What does it mean?
How far are the Nets going to go in the playoffs?
Does it make a difference? Does it make a difference? They're going to make the playoffs, likely. And then once they make the playoffs, they got to play one of those teams. Does it make a difference?
But the question was Jamal Crawford going to make a difference on the Nets? And I said, yes, signing Jamal Crawford does make a difference. Not to be the contender, but he's going to help the Nets out. That was the question, Max.